Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Bold and the Beautiful Eric Forrester in tragic road accident. The fashion world of Los Angeles has been violently shaken to its core. The legendary patriarch of Forrester Creations, Eric Forrester John McCook, the heart, soul, and unwavering foundation of the entire dynasty, has been involved in a sudden, devastating road accident. The news hit the family like a physical blow, turning what was already a week of high-stakes emotional confrontation into an unimaginable tragedy. The aftermath of the storm. The tension at Forrester Creations had been at an all-time high. The battle between Eric and his son, Ridge Torsten K., over Eric's forced retirement had escalated into a venomous, public showdown. Eric, feeling betrayed, diminished, and desperate to prove his continued creative genius, had stormed out of the CEO office just moments before the tragedy, his face a mask of furious, injured pride. His last words to Ridge were a chilling prophecy of the regret that would soon drown the entire family. "You want control so badly, Ridge, fine. Take it. But don't you dare think you've seen the last of what your father can create." Donna Logan Jennifer Garais, who had been desperately trying to mediate the father-son feud while simultaneously masking her own intense worry about Eric's frail health, chased after him, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. She watched helplessly as Eric, blinded by rage and tears, jumped into his luxury sports car and sped off into the congested LA traffic. The unthinkable collision. The accident occurred mere blocks from the iconic Forrester Creations building. Early reports suggest the crash involved multiple vehicles, including a large utility truck. Eric, driving far too fast for the busy street, failed to react in time to the sudden stop of traffic ahead. The screech of tires was followed by a horrific, metal-on-metal groan that echoed through the canyons of downtown Los Angeles. Donna, arriving on the scene moments later, let out a primal scream that cut through the sirens and the growing crowd. The sight was horrific. Eric's custom-made vehicle was crumpled, the driver's side bearing the brunt of the impact. Emergency responders were already working feverishly, cutting through the twisted wreckage to reach the motionless figure inside. I saw the crumpled hood of his car. It looked like a toy a giant had stomped on. And all I could think was, that's Eric. My Eric is in there. I couldn't breathe. I just kept screaming his name, but the sound wouldn't reach him. Donna Logan in a tearful statement. Chaos, the family gathers. The news spread through the Forrester family and their inner circle like wildfire. Ridge, still reeling from the devastating argument, arrived at the Los Angeles University Hospital emergency room in a state of absolute denial, followed closely by a weeping Brooke Catherine Kelly Lang and a frantic Steffi Jacqueline McInnes Wood, who had to be physically held back by Dr. John Finnegan Tanner Novlin. Quinn Fuller Rena Sofer, despite her complex history with Eric, rushed to the hospital, her face pale with shock. Even the ever-scheming Sheila Carter Kimberlin Brown, lurking in the shadows of the hospital waiting area, seemed momentarily humbled by the gravity of the situation. The waiting room became a pressure cooker of guilt, fear, and unspoken recriminations. Ridge, he paced relentlessly, his hands covered in a nervous sweat. The last words he'd spoken to his father, words of demand, control, and dismissal, now hammered inside his skull. "I did this," he muttered, the words raw with anguish. "I pushed him. It's my fault." Brooke, trying to comfort her son-in-law, she was simultaneously consumed by her own regret. If only she had intervened sooner, if only she hadn't allowed the family to gang up on Eric about his retirement. "No, Ridge. Don't say that. We all love him. This was an accident." Steffi, she collapsed into Finn's arms, weeping uncontrollably. Her memories of her grandfather, her mentor, the man who taught her everything about the Forrester legacy, flooded her mind. "He's all I have left of the real Forrester creations," she sobbed. "He has to be okay, Finn. He has to be." The critical update. After what felt like an eternity, Finn, who had scrubbed in to assist the trauma team, emerged with a grim expression. The entire room went silent, every eye fixed on the young doctor. "The accident was severe," Finn stated, his voice professional yet thick with personal sorrow. "Eric sustained multiple fractures and significant internal trauma. He's been stabilized, but he has a serious head injury. He's in a medically induced coma. We won't know the full extent of the damage until the swelling goes down." He paused, looking directly at Ridge, Steffi, and Donna. "The next 24 hours are critical." The phrase hung in the air, a classic soap opera cliffhanger, but in this moment, a crushing reality. Critical. The man who created a fashion empire, the man who survived heart attacks, betrayals, and countless family feuds, was now fighting the most personal battle of his life, one he couldn't simply design his way out of. Unanswered questions and the looming future. As Eric lies unconscious, tubes and wires his only companions, the future of Forrester Creations and the entire family remains terrifyingly uncertain. The succession crisis, with Eric incapacitated, who truly holds the reins? Ridge, who was already trying to force his retirement, or Steffi, the CEO who is now wrestling with her conscience? Donna's vow. The distraught Donna has taken a vigil by his bedside, vowing to talk to him, to read him his favorite fashion sketches, and to never leave his side. Will her unconditional love be the miracle he needs to wake up the guilt? Will Ridge's crushing guilt lead him to a path of reckless self-destruction, or will he finally learn the value of his father's legacy beyond the bottom line? A hidden enemy. This is the bold and the beautiful. Was the accident truly just an accident given Eric's recent power struggle? One family member's mind, perhaps a suspicious Steffi or an increasingly paranoid Ridge, will surely start to wonder if a foe, old or new, saw this as the perfect opportunity to seize control. The stage is set for a gut-wrenching arc that will test the limits of family forgiveness, power, and the unwavering spirit of the Forrester patriarch. Fans worldwide hold their breath, hoping for a miracle for the man who is simply irreplaceable. The rain began as a soft, insistent whisper, quickly escalating to a torrential downpour that mirrored the turmoil raging inside Eric Forrester's soul. The grand patriarch of Forrester Creations, his spirit already frayed by the bitter fight for control of his legacy, was driving home from the Cliff House. He'd just endured another soul-crushing confrontation with Ridge and Steffi, his own children, who had once again urged him into forced retirement. "They want me gone," he had muttered into his cell phone, just moments ago, the strained voice of Donna Logan on the other end, pleading with him to calm down. "They think I'm old, obsolete. My own flesh and blood." The winding canyon road, slick with rain and obscured by a thick, metallic fog, was treacherous. Eric's vision, blurred not by age but by the hot sting of tears the betrayal was so visceral, was momentarily drawn to the reflection of his own tormented face in the rearview mirror. His beloved Donna had tried to warn him. "Eric, pull over. Wait out the storm. Please, you're too upset." He gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white against the dark wood. "I have to get back to the mansion, Donna. I have to look at the portraits. They all tell a story Ridge is trying to erase." Suddenly, a flash of blinding, unholy yellow split the darkness. A large, out-of-control semi-truck, its driver perhaps distracted, perhaps hydroplaning, veered violently across the double yellow line. Eric swerved instinctively, the powerful engine of his luxury sedan screaming a final, desperate protest. He wrestled the wheel, but it was too late. The impact was not a gentle nudge, it was the deafening, bone-jarring crush of metal against metal, a catastrophic symphony of destruction. The immediate aftermath, a world shattered. The scene was a tableau of absolute horror. Twisted steel, shattered glass, and the smell of gasoline mixed with the relentless rain. News vans, their satellite dishes raised like vultures, were already descending upon the blocked canyon highway. At the Forrester mansion, the phone rang, a shrill, unwelcome intruder on the quiet evening. Ridge, standing next to Brooke by the fireplace, picked up. His face, usually a mask of designer-stubbled confidence, went chalk white, the color draining away until he looked like a statue carved from Italian marble. What are you saying?" he stammered, his voice thick with disbelief, then rising to a panicked shout. "An accident, the canyon road." "No." Brooke's hand flew to her mouth, her world instantly tilting off its axis. Donna, having been on the phone with him just minutes before the crash, arrived with Katie moments later. She didn't need to hear the words. The look in Ridge's eyes, the way his hand trembled as he dropped the phone, told the whole, devastating story. "Eric," Donna whispered, her legs giving out, collapsing to the Persian rug. Katie rushed to hold her sister, their shared, frantic grief a palpable thing. The hospital, a family divided by grief. At the hospital, the tension was suffocating. Every member of the Forrester Logan clan stood vigil, the harsh fluorescent lights illuminating their shock, fear, and, most potently, guilt. Dr. John Finnegan, the calm, steady voice of reason, emerged from the trauma bay, his scrubs stained, his face grim. Eric sustained massive internal injuries and severe head trauma. "The next few hours are critical, but the prognosis is extremely poor," Finn said, the words heavy and final. "We've done everything we can, but he may never wake up." Ridge slumped against the wall. The last words he had spoken to his father were sharp, cutting, and full of his desire to seize power. "This company can't wait for you to fade away, Dad. You've had your time." That venomous speech now echoed in the hollow chamber of his heart, a relentless, torturous accusation. Brooke stepped forward, her eyes blazing with raw fury, directed squarely at Ridge. "You did this, Ridge. Your cruelty, your constant pushing for him to retire. You drove him out of that office and onto that road in the middle of a storm. You destroyed him." "Brooke, stop!" Steffi interjected, trying to defend her father, but the force of Brooke's anguish was too great. No. He was heartbroken. He was fighting to keep his dignity. And now look. Eric, the heart of our family, is gone because of your ego. Brooke's words ripped through the sterile air, creating an irreparable schism in the family's fragile unity. The final farewell. Days turned into a week, the family waiting for a miracle that would never come. Eric lay motionless, his life a steady beep on a heart monitor. The doctors confirmed the worst, no brain activity. The difficult, heart-wrenching decision had to be made. In his final moments, a fragile truce was called. Brooke and Taylor, rivals for decades, stood side by side, their tears mingling. Ridge, his voice cracking with unbearable remorse, held his father's hand. "I'm so sorry, Dad," Ridge choked out, his head bowed. "I should have listened. I should have just let you design. Forgive me." Donna, her face swollen from non-stop weeping, leaned down and kissed Eric's forehead one last time. "You were my honey bear, my great love. I will cherish every moment." As the family gathered, Rick, Maya, Thorne, Bridget, Katie, Bill, and Quinn returned for her final goodbye, the machine was switched off. The long, flat line on the monitor confirmed the irreversible truth: Eric Forrester was gone. The silence in the room was heavier than any cry. It was the silence of a dynasty losing its founder, a family losing its patriarch, a world of beautiful fashion losing its visionary. In the wake of the devastating road accident, the bold and the beautiful world would never be the same. The battle for Forrester Creations was now tinged with a tragic, unforgivable guilt, and the road ahead, much like the canyon road that night, was dark, unforgiving, and riddled with unforeseen dangers. The legacy was in ruins, and the heart of the family had stopped beating forever.